Hey, what's up, guys? Aoshi here, and well, I know some of you guys already think that I've already quit, but well, I think this is official. So, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, as far as I'm feeling right now, as we have some stuff going on in the background, because I don't like nothing going on in the video side of things. I will not be returning to GBO2. And that obviously shouldn't be coming to a surprise, but I know some of you guys out there have messaged me or may have not messaged me because you guys don't feel like your comments matter, or maybe you feel like you have to be a yes man to everything that I do, which I can tell you for a fact that's not what I expect out of anybody, really. But this is more for the fans, the people that reached out to me and kind of were wondering what the hell's wrong with me, and et cetera, et cetera. And frankly, the short version, if you guys want to hear it, is that I'm not inspired by GBO2 any longer. Things that, well, I had plenty of ideas for GBO2, and frankly, those are ideas that just will remain ideas, to say the least. I don't want to drag this on for too long because, well, it's going to sound like it's a rant, and it's not. There's ideas that I wanted to bring to light, things that people might have been involved already that would have, may or may not have succeeded, but that's not the point. But I wanted to bring GBO2 as mainstream as I could within whatever power I could context in the time that I had, because I felt like it deserved it. Gundam as a whole deserves it. It deserves so much more than what we are seeing, what we are given, whether it be the powers that be or not. Regardless of which, I hung in as long as I could, pretty much holding into the concept of being the change that you wanted to see. And I just couldn't do it anymore after doing GNN for so long. And I think the nail that kind of solidified it was with the way that we found out how Dozel Zabi's Zaku would be unveiled, the banner, and then another secret banner on top of that, which if you guys saw the streams for that night, I was livid. I pretty much, if I could label myself in different phases, this was Dark Ages third year GBO2 Aoshi coming out to light, and he hasn't come out in such a long time that it was sickening that not only did I still got the banner suit because I thought it was really cool, at the same time I felt sick, just because it was like all that hard-earned money that I've worked and essentially would rush home to kind of see what the new banner suit would be, but in this case we already knew, only to feel wasted and had no value whatsoever. And that's the thing too, is that from a creative standpoint, granted, I would say my skill set is pretty limited. I practically suck. Although there might be some of you guys out there that might disagree, but I don't do meme stuff very well. And that's why I did the pilot mindset, because I thought that would be really cool for people to up their game with the game. I know that sounds kind of like a pun, right? But in a way to improve, and when the player base improves, the matches get better. Unfortunately, despite having that there, it just, I don't think it resonated really well. It seemed like it did well in certain areas. At the same time, I know the community is very niche too. I don't want to say it's the community's fault, because honestly, my content is going to be good or bad regardless. I like to think it's good, but it probably wasn't, and that's okay. At the same time, I do feel like creatively it's limiting, just because GBO2 in itself is a very PvP oriented game. Sure, you have co-op and PvE, but this comment goes out to somebody's that was like, yeah, this has got co-op. Yes, in scenarios, which is limiting because you're not playing through a campaign. You're not playing with the suit that you want to play. You're playing with something that's already decided for you. And in that sense, that's not really co-op at all, is it? Not really. Sure, you could combine that with other games or something like that that have a co-op feature, but not in the context of Gundam. And it's kind of an afterthought, the beta simulator stuff, which, you know, that's another story for another time. But yeah, just the longer I thought about it, the more it was very clear that I couldn't really keep up just being, you know, just doing the news on it, the updates, because how could I really provide value for a game that really doesn't support me as a player, as a content creator, as somebody that loves Gundam as much, if not more, than the next person. And to get something, you would have to shell out a minimum of, if you don't even have time to play, a minimum, if you're lucky, 30 to maybe $120 in the case of the Dozelzabi Izaku. Now, of course, I don't want to talk badly because, you know, these are just my feelings. This is, you know, my opinion. And at the end of the day, companies are going to do what they want to do. I'm not trying to be an advocate. I am not advocate. This is just more of why, again, as an explanation for the fans, if people do care about the motivations behind why I was doing what I was doing with GBO2, is because it seemed like the right thing to do, to bring light to updates as much as I could within my own power regarding the game, showcasing suits in my own way, of course, although they were highly influenced, which, I mean, it works, right? You know, you're watching these two things to find out about the ins and outs of brand new suits, and also to be entertained too. So it worked. After a while, it just, I don't know, it just got stale, and, you know, just, you know, frankly, it got boring. Like, it's just one of those things where it's just, frankly, to be fair, yeah, it's one of those things where the time invested stopped bringing in the type of returns that I would be investing in. So if the biggest commodity that I was investing in GBO2 was my time, and not just my time, my hard-earned money on top of that, there is definitely a significant amount of diminishing returns, to the point where no matter what I would do, it just, after a while, it just wasn't worth it anymore. And for those that are still sticking it out with GBO2, I, you know, wish you all the best, and hopefully you guys can do something great with the game, because GBO2 is gonna be around for quite some time, hopefully. I don't know for certain. I'm not a fortune teller of any sort, but this is more for the folks that are wondering why, just, you know, the silent majority that just look on, and I don't know. I'm wondering what's gonna happen. And honestly, I'm gonna be involved with Gundam. If anything has shown me that Gundam Breaker 4, despite being under the same branding, in a sense, the same umbrella company-wise, gives a lot more to the new community for the time invested than GBO2 has in the, as I'm looking at my timestamp here, literally almost 2,000 hours worth of playing this in the span of, what, 6 years? Like, sure, you can customize them and everything, but it's just like, I don't know, it's just, something just feels lacking. And that, before I start tangenting even further, I want to say something about GBO3, because in my mind, I feel like I'm ready for GBO3. At the same time, I'm kind of not, because if GBO3 comes out, obviously not in the the immediate future, but I almost expect it to be kind of almost the same experience as GBO2. And that's a scary thought. Why? Because it's going to be a gotcha, for one. Two, what limiting factors are there going to be in the next sequel? I've already did a video a long time ago on what potentially could, well, actually, I don't think I did one on GBO3, sorry. But if I did, it scares me to the point where it's just like, I would check it out and then be instantly realize this is basically GBO2. And that's what I don't want to see. But, unfortunately, that's just, it feels like it's the reality of what we have grown with the iteration over the years with GBO2 as a whole. So, as far, like I said, just to kind of reiterate, that's why I don't want to, I'm not going to be doing any more GBO2 stuff, mainly because it's a very niche product, to the point where I'm not really growing with GBO2 as much as we've had those major pushes with the iteration of Unicorn and some other stuff. It's gotten to the point where just I don't feel like it's worth supporting anymore. I used to be inspired by it in a way, and it's just one of those things that just doesn't reward the time invested. And like on top of that, you would think that despite having, how do I say this in context? Despite having certain shortcomings, you would think that the people around you in GBO2 would want to try to push you further to not only, I mean, supporting is one thing, but like to do better with the stuff, to make it the best that you can get, even though you think it's already the best. And that's the feeling I get. I just don't feel like I'm getting pushed hard enough to do better with this stuff. And it's just not the time doesn't, it's just not rewarding enough in that regard. And I hate to say that too, because it's just like I've already invested so much time into this already. It's just, it's disheartening because it's I don't know. I have passion for this, but I feel like I'm in a padded room every time. Anything that GBO2 related pops up, I feel like I'm in a padded room, and you try to scream, but all you hear is just silence. That's the feeling I get regarding GBO2 in any shape or form. Mostly because I can't really talk about certain things, but yeah, it is what it is. So for the fans, I'm sorry that it's come down to this. But I've been relatively doing really well, not even trying to push out content regarding GBO2, or even like I don't feel pressured to try to do stuff with it. Like even being burnt out initially with the I'm done with GBO2 video. It's I didn't like talking about it because it just felt like I quit. But leading to where we're at right now, I didn't even necessarily quit. It was pretty much that decision was made for me when we had that banner turn out the way it did, and some other events that I'm not able to talk about, essentially. Granted, which more than likely is in public information, and if you know, you know. But yeah, it's just I feel like I need to wipe my hands clean with this. It's sad. I had a lot of high hopes. I wanted to do a lot of different things, but I'm just sorely disappointed overall with this. I'm not gonna say I'm completely done with this, but at the same time, I don't plan on doing anything in the near future regarding this. They're pretty much, I would say, there pretty much would have to be an act of God for it to bring me back. Sadly. I mean, literally, and a literal act of God. I don't want to be religious, but that's the level of shenanigans that would have to bring me back. I mean, you better have, like, Moses part the Red Sea in half and then some. But I would almost say it's sad to be used to being disappointed. So yeah, I'm actually kind of sad even just talking like this, because this is not how I wanted it to end. So anyways, that's it. I'm just gonna upload this, and for the fans that found me through GBO2, I want to thank you guys if you made it all the way to the end. Thank you guys for your continued support during that period of my life, and if you guys still want to support me further on outside of that, I'd greatly appreciate it. So only time will tell what the future holds, and as I've realized, nothing is ever for certain. So what we can do is take care of each other and ourselves, and I'll see you guys on the next one. See ya.